Last month, the savvy singleton urged women to never date men in their 30s because they're statistically likely to be the ones who won't commit. Woo! Yo, this is delusional 101, baby. Oh man, guys, it's so ridiculous. I think it's just so ridiculous how women that are 35 years old put expectations and a list of requirements on men, especially when it comes to dating, and their list gets even longer and even more ridiculous. It's like they don't even realize they're 35 years old. What do you have to offer to me? You've given up all your prime and your youth and all your virtue to all these different men leading up to being 35 years old, and then you're gonna make a list of requirements for me to follow if you even want to consider me? Well, high value men aren't considering her. But I think it's hilarious that she doesn't even add her name in this article, but she comes up with a strict list of requirements that she has for men. So let's check them out, guys. Maybe she has a point here. Maybe we have something that we can learn. Let me know what you think about her requirements as well as we go along. You can comment. I have a feeling they're going to be pretty ridiculous. Let's check it out, guys. It's unbelievable, the requirements these days. All right, so the title of the article is Woman Warns You Should Avoid 5'10" Guys on Dating Apps. And they're just one group she steers clear of. Guys, this is why I tell you, never take dating advice from a woman. Women love to self-sabotage, therefore they give each other dating advice about men when they themselves don't even know how to keep a man around. They've never kept a man around. They're just excellent carousel riders, and they have experience down there riding, but they have no experience whatsoever when it comes to keeping a man around, keeping him satisfied, being submissive, being feminine, and supporting a man on his path to greatness. So let's just read what she has to say. And already off the gate, this is the lady that actually made the list of requirements for these men, and you can see here in the picture, obviously, she's an attention seeker, just like every other woman, whether it's good or bad. Women love attention. We already know these things. She's wearing a bra in her picture. And if we scroll over to her Instagram right here, I'll show you guys, it's a lot of boobies. Boobies, boobies, boobies. Look at these. Look at guys. Maybe it's up here a little more. Cleavage, cleavage. Cleavage, cleavage. Cleavage. So she loves her attention, guys. And let's just see, there's one picture I really want to show you guys because it just sums up what she's all about. A lot of wine, a lot of drinking. She is 35 years old posting this right here, guys. All right? Now, I'm not going to knock her hustle, but that's not something you're going to do to keep a man around long term. Let me tell you that. He's just going to be a wham, wham, thank you, ma'am type of deal. He's not going to be sticking around long term with that. So you got to be careful of what you put out on the internet, especially your dating advice to other women, because, you know, women love to self-sabotage, like I keep saying. But let's just read this article. Whether we own up to it or not, most of us have a type we can't help but swipe right on dating apps, which is usually looks or status or money. But according to Australian radio presenter Jana Hocking, there are several groups of men single women should never date, and that includes guys who insist they are 5'10". As if this 35-year-old woman has the right to tell a man how tall he should be when she has nothing to offer to the table. Jana has narrowed down the guys you should avoid into 9 categories. In a personal essay for news.au, this is Australia, Jana explained how she's, quote, been around the trap a few times, end quote, on Tinder and Bumble. I would gander to say it's more than a few times. From those who lie about their age to your typical quote-unquote alpha males, the savvy singleton has put together a list of 9 groups of men to avoid, and we're warning you now, it might just put you off online dating for good. Well, good. Listen, more power to you. Us men could care less. We couldn't care less. You know what? Leave the dating market. Especially if you're 35, leave the dating market. You know, no man of high value is actually holding you and saying, oh my God, I hope she doesn't leave the dating market. This 35-year-old post-wall thought, I hope she doesn't leave. Oh my God, I'm going to miss my opportunity with her. If she, no one cares. Leave. All you 35-year-old women, get off the dating apps. That way, us men can actually see the 21-year-olds, the 19-year-olds that we actually find attractive. That we actually might be submissive and feminine. Not some 35-year-old that's has her career together, is educated, has an attitude, is like Tommy Lahren. We don't want that. We don't want that. Number one, the 5'10 guy. First up, there are guys who say they're 5'10 in their bios, but they are actually much shorter. Well, that's genetics, you know? And, you know, this woman right here, she clearly is genetically modified and attention seeking. So for her to say that, you know, she's very superficial. Just off the jump, I could tell off the rip. Second up on our list, the guy who says he's 45. Aware that admitting they're over 50 will get them less matches, Jana says. Many blokes claim they're 45 to bag more dates because other users' age preferences. Speaking from experience, Jana says she recently went on a date with a man who said he was 45, 6 feet tall, worked in finance, had no kids, and was Scottish. But when she met him in person, Jana wrote, because she's an expert at going on these one-night flings on dating apps, which she won't add, he was rather short. Admitted after a very strong whiskey that he was 52 years old and that he had 2 kids. Well, that's on him for lying about that, but at the same time, he needs to understand his value as a man. I mean, if you're 50 years old, yes, if you have kids, you should be honest about that. But you have to understand you have more value than this lady right here, especially if you have a successful career and you're just a man in general. If you're on your purpose, you understand your value, and you've built something with your life. You need to be rejecting women like this because you can do better than her. And she thinks she's just stuff, and she thinks she's all this and that. You know what? It's time to poke a hole in her hot air balloon. Alpha males, number 3. According to Jana, an easy way to spot an obnoxious alpha male is by taking a close look at their photos. If they shared a gym selfie or are holding a giant dead fish, then Jana says you're better off swiping left, highlighting what a big red flag it is, she wrote. Just like a caveman who hunts a wildebeest and brings it back to the cave to impress his lady friend, this guy is trying to show he is as masculine as they come. And you, judged on your Instagram, are trying to show how promiscuous and how many body counts and how many men you've rode like a pony you've done in your career. Number 4, the angry guy looking for a rebound. Look, no one wants to be a person anyone rebounds with when they're reeling from a breakup. To save yourself some serious heartbreak, Jana recommends looking out for statements such as, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Men don't say that. What heterosexual man has ever said something like that? If you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best? That's something a woman would say. I've never heard a man say that. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I've never heard a man say, if you can't handle me at my worst, you can't handle me at my best. That's something women would say. That's something a 35-year-old writing an article would say. So I think she's projecting a little bit of herself from this article. You know, the dating market's difficult for these women, especially when they smash to the wall like this. You know, I mean, what she's good for is a cougar for someone like my age, but, you know, I don't even want her. Studied at the School of Hard Knock, and you probably won't message me back because I'm a nice guy. Written in their bios. I don't think guys are really writing that kind of stuff. That doesn't sound like something I've never heard a guy do that. And besides, the majority of women are the ones that are looking for rebounds. They're the ones that have been with abusive boyfriends, have tattoos, piercings, they're overweight, they have a lot of debt, they have a ton of cats. You know, so her putting all these expectations on men looking for rebounds, you women are the ones that are always looking for rebounds and rehabilitation from us. And money and resources, protection. We don't want to give that to you. Number 5, the entrepreneur. Although not every guy on Tinder who says they're an entrepreneur is actually jobless, Jana says it's a red flag and something that's worth clarifying early on. Well, you know what? A lot of women tend to say they're entrepreneurs because they have an OnlyFans, a premium Snapchat, they have a account, whatever it is. They have all these dating apps that they're able to use and modify their bodies and sell their bodies, and they claim that they're entrepreneurs. So for a man to do this, you know, I would beckon to say that the man is more likely to actually have an entrepreneurial job than a woman, and it doesn't involve selling his body for money. That's just honest to God truth. Number 6, the guy who just posts selfies. You can't exactly blame anyone for posting their best selfie on their dating profile, but if they're only posting selfies, Jana claims, they might not actually look like that in real life or have much of a social life. Well, women tend to do this all the time. What they'll do is they'll take pictures from this high of an angle and they'll put their chin down so they don't look as fat as they are, and you know, you can't see that they have no neck and they're just like this, and they're built like a linebacker in the Pro Bowl. So you can't really tell men what we can and can't post, especially when the majority of women on dating apps are extremely manipulative and overweight, and they tend to hide all their flaws behind filters, different colors, different photoshops, all these different things, plastic surgery, makeup. Do we have that as guys? No, we don't. So for her to say this and for her to judge us guys, look at her Instagram, and that's all the proof you need of a woman trying to cover up who she really is. The more extreme version of this category involves a person looking slightly like a serial killer with extreme close-up photos, no smiling, and the impression that they have the personality of a dead fish, she added. Or those are just guys that are serious and don't really like to act like all effeminate taking pictures and always smiling up in the camera. You know, that doesn't make him a serial killer or anything. And even if he did smile all the time, I know women's psychology, if he was always smiling in his pictures and they weren't close up, like she said, like a serial killer, these women would be looking at him like, what's wrong with this guy? Why is he always smiling all the time? He must be gay. He must be bi. That's how women are. You can't win with them. The guy who only posts group pictures. According to Tinder's most swiped right man, users only spent 0.5 seconds looking at your profile before swiping. It shows you guys looks really do matter when it comes to dating apps, unfortunately. So it's important to make an impression. In other words, you don't want to spend ages studying group photos to work out which one he is. She added, you will honestly be hoping he is the hot one. He won't be. On the flip side of things, women love to take group photos, especially women that are around my age, especially, man, on Instagram, there's so many pictures of girls that are my age, fresh out of college, or even earlier than college, that are on yachts with these multimillionaires. Well, you don't see the multimillionaires, but you know that these girls can't pay for these trips, and there's a group of girls, and there's a guy taking the picture clearly, but it's a bunch of girls just using their hypergamy to their advantage, just taking pictures with these millionaires and smashing these guys, and just so they can get flown out, just so they can have these expensive yacht trips. So honestly, for them to judge us, there's not really much there. The guy who poses with a puppy or a baby. Referencing Sex and the City's Men Are Like Taxis episode. Oh, that's a great episode too. You know, Sex and the City was a great thing. If you want to get into a long-term relationship as a woman, watch all the series of Sex and the City and you will find a great high-value man. You'll have a happy life and you won't be eating cat food, trust me. And we've seen how that's worked out for plenty of women in the past. Jana says men who their green light switched on, i.e. want a relationship, will post pictures of themselves holding a baby, a puppy, or their niece or nephew. She explained anyone holding a baby, niece, or nephew in their photo is basically saying, look, this could be us. I'm not disagreeing really with that. But, you know, women do the same thing. So I don't understand why men are being attacked for this. And I don't think the Sex and the City reference is a great example. The guy who was posing with the same girl in every shot. On first impression, this might appear as though he wants you to know that he is emotionally mature enough to have girls who are friends. But according to Jana, this is a couple looking to get frisky with a third person. Cheeky rascals. Last month, the savvy singleton urged women to never date men in their 30s because they're statistically likely to be the ones who won't commit. Woo! Yo, this is delusional 101, baby. Who do these 35-year-old women actually think is going to be committing to them if they're saying don't date men in their 30s because they're going to be the least likely to commit? Us young guys are waking up to this too. It's not like us young guys have been living under a rock and we're not seeing what's going on around us. Trust me, trust and believe, us young guys are waking up. We don't want no 30-year-olds. Just because y'all got dumped by the 30-year-old men, we don't want you. Listen, there's girls that are my age, younger, getting pounded out right now as we speak. I don't even want them. So what makes you think that I want a 10-plus-year-old model of the 19-year-old that's getting pounded out now in you as a 30-year-old woman? Like, seriously, someone answer that in the comments. And all you young guys know what I'm talking about. Will we pound you out, 30-year-old women? Yes. Will we commit? No. Absolutely not. Will we pound out every 30-year-old? No. Do we understand where we stand in our sexual marketplace value? We understand that we are the prize, and we understand we have more value as men than these women in today's generation? Absolutely, 100%. And if you don't feel that way, you need to watch more content like this to build up your self-esteem and your confidence as a man and continue to improve your life. Because you are the prize, and they won't sell you this. These women think they're the prize. They think they could tell us men who we should date, who we shouldn't date, our requirements, I'm telling you guys, keep building your kingdom, man. Forget these women in this generation. Forget them. Forget them. They don't respect you. They don't respect the grind. They don't respect your hard work. They try to take advantage and manipulate. You should be focusing on your purpose, focusing on yourself. Man, forget these 30-plus-year-old women that have unrealistic dating requirements. It's ridiculous, man. If you enjoyed the video, which I know you did, drop a like, hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you think about this article, and share the content as well so more men can get this. Have a good one, guys.